Alright, what's up, guys? Um, it is Wednesday, March 18th. I took a little trip for a few days, checking out parts of the Erie Canal and Genesee River, um, in like upstate New York, which hopefully at some point I'll get into, try and show some pictures and interesting stuff. And I made a short video yesterday, but everywhere I would go to use the internet to upload it, the library, Starbucks, or anywhere else is all closed. It's like, police out, kind of at intersections. Looks like they're getting ready to lock the whole thing down. But I'm gonna see. So who knows when you're gonna see this? If you see this around Wednesday or Thursday, maybe there's internet at the farm I can use if I'm working on the farm. I don't know. If not, I'll just keep making videos when I feel like it, and upload them when I can. See you guys on the other side. This video I'm gonna do is on my trip. I kept seeing these Sinclair gas stations where they have the green Dinosaur out front, which I totally forgot about, these gas stations, Sinclair gas stations, and it reminded me of the TV show Dinosaurs. So I got a whole little thing I'm gonna do on this, on the why did we have the dinosaur narrative story about tied into oil? Why do they want us to think oil comes from dinosaurs? Is that the purpose of the dinosaur narrative? Rather than being, and also, limited, very limited supply, and it comes from this. No, it's not the blood of the earth. It's not replenished, produced in indefinitely, inexhaustibly. But still, you shouldn't, just like you shouldn't blood sacrifice people. It's parasitic mindset. You don't sacrifice the blood of the earth for short-term, dirty control. But anyway, why do they want us to think it comes from dinosaurs? That's where oil comes from. So we're going to look at that. This guy in the background, I call this guy lever puller. He sets everything in motion. But who sets him in motion? A bigger lever puller. I'm going to do like an outline of another version of this guy, and cut in like a neon red LED light strip, and I'm gonna cut the shape with a glass cutter, try and cut it out of a mirror, and then get a sheet of a double-sided mirror. Oh yeah, and I'm gonna line the cut mirror with the LED rope light, so it's like red light around the outline of a mirror in the shape of this little troll lever puller guy. But I'm gonna make that out of like double-sided mirror material, then go to one of these dance studios or jiu-jitsu, kung fu places, maybe where my sister goes or something, and take the picture through the double-sided mirror, so you can't see the camera. So it does like a hall of mirrors, but it's like the lever puller guy, like hall of mirrors, but he's all going inside of himself, because it's gonna be like he's on a mirror, the light strip, mirror behind and mirror in front, and you can't see the camera. I'll hide behind the actual sculpture and take the picture through the middle of it. It'll be like this hall of mirrors of the little lever puller guy. Anyway, it's not important. But before I get into the Sinclair thing, I wanted to show one thing. On that last Y Machine video I did, called The Fall, Part 6, I want to show the lyrics of the song I was playing in the background. It's a Sonic Youth song. It's called Diamond Sea. And I've listened to this song tons of times. It's a real long song. I looped it a couple times. It's a whole side of a record. But, I mean, I kind of knew the lyrics. I've listened to the song many times. I always liked the song. But for some reason, it just never really hit me until afterwards. Just look at the lyrics of this song. And just imagine that he's talking about the Y machine. Okay, just think about this. Think about this just in regards to what I was saying about everything about the Y machine. Time takes its crazy toll. And how does your mirror grow? You better watch yourself when you jump into it, 'cause the mirror's gonna steal your soul. I wonder how it came to be, my friend, that someone just like you has come again. You'll never, never know how close you came until you fall in love with the diamond rain. Throw all his trash away. Look out, he's here to stay. They can't leave. In the mirror. Your mirror's gonna crack when he breaks into it, and you'll never, never be the same. Remember when I said they snap? They completely snap. Your mirror's gonna crack when he breaks into it, and you'll never, never be the same. Think of like the Matrix, Neo looking into the cracked mirror. He touches it. Never, never be the same. Look into his eyes and you can see why all the little kids are dressed in dreams. I wonder how he's gonna make it back when he sees that you just know it's make-believe. Blood crystallized to sand. And now I hope you'll understand. You reflected into his looking glass soul, and now the mirror is your only friend. Look into his eyes and you will see that men are not alone on the diamond sea. Sail into the heart of the lonely storm and tell her that you'll love her eternally. Time takes its crazy toll, mirror falling off the wall. You better look out for the looking glass girl, 'cause she's gonna take you for a fall. Look into his eyes and you shall see why everything is quiet and nothing's free. Reminds me like what Gary Warmerdam was saying, why everything is quiet and nothing's free. Like the lost system, like where the energy all emanates from one point, the sun, and it's lost everywhere into the environment, like being in one of those super soundproof rooms, super sound absorbing rooms where you can't hear a bell ring, you can't hear yourself talk. All the energy's being sucked like lost system. Why everything is quiet and nothing's free. I wonder how he's gonna make her smile when love is running wild on the diamond sea. Okay, so Sinclair oil and the Dinosaurs. What's going on with these guys? Okay, Sinclair Oil, American Petroleum Corporation, founded by Harry F. Sinclair, May 1st, 1916. Originally a New York corporation, reincorporated in Wyoming, 1976. The corporation's logo features a large green dinosaur. Refineries, gas stations, hotels, ski resort, cattle ranch. They were involved in a big Italian controversy with Mussolini. So basically, most of the Italian oil market was controlled by the Italo-American Petroleum Society, SIAP, which in turn was fully dominated by Standard Oil. Okay, as the Teapot Dome scandal unfolded in the United States and reached international press, Mussolini accelerated the negotiations with the deal signed for May 1924. We're going to look at the Teapot Dome scandal as well. In this regard, Sinclair Oil is known for having made large payments to leading fascists, all acting as intermediaries for Benito Mussolini. So, basically, yeah, Standard Oil completely controls Italy's oil. So they're all tied in with the fascists, Standard Oil. There's this Teapot Dome scandal in the U.S., and supposedly there's an outcry. They want competition, competitive bidding in Italy. So basically, Sinclair Oil comes in, newly created, as a supposed competitor in Italy to Standard Oil, so they can have competitive bidding, and it's not just this monopoly between the fascists and the American big oil industrialists and bankers. So, Sinclair Oil provided guarantees it had no relations with the International Oil Trust. It's uncovered by a whistleblower, an anti-fascist, Giacomo Matteotti, who was, of course, kidnapped and murdered by Mussolini's secret police just before he could report his discoveries to Parliament. Matteotti accused Sinclair Oil of being a pawn of Standard Oil, as well as revealing grave irregularities concerning the concession. So, you know, for some reason, American companies just completely own the resources of this fascist state. So they have all the rights to the oil fields, and like we can see in the last page, they're funneling massive, large payments to leading fascists in return for their oil reserves. So these dudes are all in cahoots. You want to talk about a one world, so on and so forth. I mean, it's nothing new, man. It goes at least back before the wars. Okay, so we see it was revealed in the Mussolini scandal that Sinclair Oil is actually a pawn of Standard Oil, so they murder this guy. Okay? Now we have a parallel situation happening in the U.S. In the early 20th century, the Navy largely converted from coal to oil. To ensure that the Navy would always have enough fuel available, several oil-producing areas were designated as naval oil reserves by President Taft. What do you mean designated? Eminent domain. Where's your title? Where's your deed? Who did you buy that from? You know? Unbelievable. I'm reading this book about the founding of the country by this guy, Ross Ben. It's all about Philadelphia. It's called Great Mystery Philadelphia. It's a great book. I'll show it and show some clips of it and stuff. And I want to go doing a tour in Philly, seeing some of the stuff he's talking about. But anyway, he just designates all these oil reserves as, the Navy owns all this. It's like the Lion King. Everything the light touches will be your kingdom. Just waves his arm. These are all our oil reserves. And we're going to turn them all over to the big oil companies. Okay, so later in 1920, so the Navy, the president, they take all these oil fields. Later in 1922, Interior Secretary Albert Fall, remember this guy? His name is Fall, this guy. Fall guy. Later in 1922, Interior Secretary Albert Fall leased the oil production rights at Teapot Dome to Harry F. Sinclair of Mammoth Oil, a subsidiary of Sinclair Oil Corporation. He also leased the Elk Hills Reserve to Doheny. Remember this guy? Doheny of Pan American Petroleum. Both leases were issued without competitive bidding. Okay? So the Navy takes them, the government takes them, no competitive bidding. Boom. Just hands them over. Same thing in Italy. Boom. They own everything. They're funding all these guys, okay? The Teapot Dome scandal was a bribery scandal involving the administration of Warren G. Harding, 1921 to 23. Secretary of Interior Albert Bacon Fall, I wonder if any relation to Francis Bacon, had leased Navy petroleum reserves at Teapot Dome in Wyoming, blah, 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 2 locations in California, to private oil companies at low rates without competitive bidding. The subject of a seminal investigation by Senator Thomas J. Walsh. Convicted of accepting bribes from the oil companies, Fall became the first, and I'll interject here only, presidential cabinet member to go to prison. No one was convicted of paying the bribes. So the Fall guy is the only one who gets in trouble. No one from the oil companies get in trouble. He's convicted of accepting the bribes, but the people are acquitted of paying him the bribes. Like in the same case. It's hilarious. Before the Watergate scandal, Teapot Dome was regarded as the greatest and most sensational scandal in the history of American politics. Yeah, I'm thinking now that probably Watergate, part of Watergate, is to get this off everyone's mind, just to memory hole this whole situation. In 1929, the Fall guy was found guilty of accepting bribes from Doheny. Remember, that's the other guy, other than Sinclair, that he gave it to. Sinclair and Doheny of Pan American. So, Fall is found guilty of accepting bribes from Doheny, but conversely, Doheny was acquitted of paying bribes to Fall. Wow. Further, Doheny's corporation foreclosed on Fall's home in Tularosa Basin, New Mexico. Yo, so Doheny, the oil guy's found not guilty. Fall goes to jail. And then Doheny's corporation forecloses on Fall's home because they gave him the freaking home. They set this guy up, man. Poor guy. I mean, he's a piece of shit, but still. That's how these people thank you, you know? Remember that. Because of unpaid loans that turned out to be that same $100,000 bribe. Sinclair served... Okay, so this is him. This is Sinclair. Sinclair Oil. Sinclair served 6 months in jail on a charge of jewelry tampering. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. 6 months in jail. Yeah, right. But anyway, but still, he is still a lower rung. This is like one of these humiliation rituals they do, you know? Just to give the appearance of the law must be upheld, especially when it's being broken. Matt. That's one of Matt's lines from Gangs in New York. So, yeah, this guy is still another level of front man, Sinclair, obviously, for Standard Oil. He probably went to jail like the same way that Bill Cosby's in jail. Or Harvey Weinstein or O.J. Simpson. Remember when O.J. Simpson shows up in jail, like, with sunglasses, tan lines? He looks like he's been playing golf in Aruba for 10 years straight. So this guy, he went to jail, to the same jail Bill Cosby and O.J. Simpson go to. Okay. During the Great Depression, Sinclair saved many other petroleum companies from receivership or bankruptcy and acquired others to expand its operations. See, that's what all these financial collapses are. You guys know that. They're just, it's consolidation into fewer and fewer hands. Acquired others to expand its operation. So that during the Great Depression, they were real smart. They cashed in all their bonds early and so blah, blah, blah. And so they had all this money to ride through the Depression and to buy everyone else. Remember, this guy revealed they're in bed with the fascists. They pay the fascists. They're in bed with the Americans. And they're a pawn of Standard Oil. So they murder this guy, remember. So then Sinclair, pawn of Standard Oil, during the Great Depression, they have all this money. They're acquiring all these other companies. Okay? So what else do these guys get into? It's never just one thing. So what are they? What's the deal with Sinclair and the Dinosaur? They're acquiring companies through them. They're acting as a fake competitor, and they're doing the Dinosaur story. Okay, I named this slide in my files. This slide's named Dinosaurs in Space. Where does oil come from, class? Dinosaurs! Good, that's right, class. Where does oil come from? Dinosaurs! That's right. It's not a rape of the earth. It's not a massive blood human sacrifice on a cosmic scale. No, it's not a parasitic mind virus infection where we eat off our own arms and eat the ground out from under our feet like termites until we fall into a bottomless pit. No, it's not that. It's just dinosaurs. That's right, class. Big friendly TV characters. That's where it comes from, and they're extinct. They don't need it. They're dead. We evolved, you know? We have dominion here. Survival of the fittest. You understand? So anyway, where does oil come from, class? Dinosaurs! That's right, just like you saw on the Teli. Just like you saw on the Teli. Bad news, class. We've used up so many dinosaurs. We've been so successful. Our economy is doing so well that we actually ran out of dinosaurs. Now we need to pump shit water and hydraulic fluid down to fracture the bedrock right at our water table, right at the aquifers. Pump shit water and chemicals and hydraulic fluid down there to fracture it, to release more dinosaurs. We have to grow if the economy slows down. All right, I'm sorry. I'm done with that now. So, these guys are in the World's Fairs. They're dinosaurs, the World's Fairs. Pawn of Standard Oil. At the Chicago World's Fair of 1933, Sinclair sponsored a dinosaur exhibit. Meant to play on the link between the formation of petroleum deposits and the time of dinosaurs. An exhibit meant to play on the link between the formation of petroleum deposits and the time of dinosaurs. Okay, so no beating around the bush. They're pushing this narrative. This is their story, and they're sticking to it. The exhibit included a 2-ton animated model of a brontosaurus. And the gas stations have life-size models of mascots, some of them. In the early 1960s, Sinclair developed the Turbo S aircraft oils used for reliability in commercial jets, military jets, guided missiles, and space exploration rockets. So, Sinclair developed the Turbo S aircraft oil used for space exploration rockets. And they're doing exhibits at the World's Fairs about dinosaurs, explaining that that's where petroleum deposits come from. Okay, then they're at the World's Fair again. At the New York World's Fair of 1964, Sinclair again sponsored a dinosaur exhibit, Dino Land, featuring life-size replicas of 9 different dinosaurs, including their signature brontosaurus. After the fair closed, Dino Land remained as a traveling exhibit. Like, who's paying for this? Like, they're, you know? This is some serious PR here. Look at this. This is unbelievable. 2 of the replicas are still on display at Dinosaur Valley State Park. So these Standard Oil fake dinosaur narrative World's Fairs making these dinosaur models, these are literally some of the dinosaurs you see. I know it's a joke, but just read this. Are still on display at Dinosaur Valley State Park near Glen Rose, Texas. Another model of a trachodon has been displayed at Brookfield Zoo outside Chicago, Illinois. Listen to this last one. Just listen to this. A replica of the Triceratops is either owned by the Kentucky Science Center and was being stored outdoors at an industrial park in South Louisville, Kentucky in 2016, or was donated by Sinclair to the Smithsonian and is on display as Uncle Beasley in the National Zoological Park in Washington, D.C. So they're acting, you don't know? This is it. No, it's not. Hey, maybe it's stored in a shed in an industrial park in Kentucky. Or maybe it's literally on display at the National Zoological Park in D.C., the Smithsonian. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, listen. Donated by Sinclair to the Smithsonian Institution and is on display, his fake fucking dinosaur, as Uncle Beasley in the National Zoological Park in Washington, D.C. So, you got these guys, they're with Italy with the fascists. The U.S. government hands everything over to them. They got the fall guy for the bribe thing. They got the fake dinosaur models, the dinosaur story. They're in the World's Fairs. The Smithsonian, space, they developed the proprietary Turbo S, whatever the heck it was, aircraft oil for space rockets and guided missiles. Just like everything we look at, checking all the boxes. These guys are doing all the right things. Okay, and then the oil field was then idled for 49 years. I don't know what that's about. 7x7. It's like a Jubilee thing. Why they do that, I don't know. 22 million barrels over the previous 39 years, and then they sold it for 45 million to Stranded Oil Resources Group. Standard Oil, stranded oil, Standard Oil, stranded. I don't know. I don't think I have anything on that. It's like, if you look into it, I think it's owned by some Allegheny Corporation, which you look into it is like the railroads own it. It's all the same thing. It's Standard Oil. Give me a break. Give me a break. Yeah, right. Stranded Oil. Yeah, right. Stranded Oil. Yeah, right. Give me a break. Okay, and then here's where we're gonna get into how this ties into the modern MK, the modern programming, the continuation of this dinosaur story. So, the Brontosaurus logo is parodied, yet repeatedly, in Toy Story and Cars franchise films. So that's Pixar, right? Pixar, DreamWorks, Amblin. And then, down at the bottom, the TV series Dinosaurs featured several characters with names derived from fossil fuel companies. The main character and his family had the surname Sinclair. So, remember? So this is going to be the back half of the video looking at this TV show. I remember as a kid I watched it, Dinosaurs. And their name is Sinclair. It's a clear reference. The other people are named other oil names. It's a Jim Henson and Walt Disney show. Okay, just to bring it on home, like we always like to do at the end of the videos, bring it full circle. We got Pixar, we got, Toy Story, Walt Disney, Jim Henson. Jim Henson too, like Dark Crystal, like The Cycle, they know. Jim Henson did a bunch of weird stuff. Dark Crystal, very weird. Okay, this TV show. I don't really have a lot of pictures. I don't have any pictures, I don't think, of actually shots from the show. But they're like big rubber, looks like people in suits, but I guess they're puppets. I guess I don't remember it that well, but they're big rubber dinosaurs. And they're named the Sinclairs. Dinosaurs is an American family sitcom, 1991, October 19th. That's when it ended. 10/19/94. Interesting. 119. Started in 1991. Anyway, Jim Henson associated with Walt Disney. Okay? News stories written at the time of the show's premiere highlighted Dinosaur's connection to Jim Henson, who died the year before. Henson conceived the show. Why do they say this? I think that's wrong. I did a whole video about it. Remember? Henson conceived of the show in 1988, according to an article in the New York Times. He wanted to do it earlier, but before The Simpsons, people thought it was crazy. Adults wouldn't watch it. It was like an adult show, really. People thought it was a crazy idea. And if you look at the bottom, Henson continued to work on a dinosaur project, presumably the Dinosaurs concept, until the last months of his life. So this is Jim Henson's like dying effort, is putting this show together, even though it doesn't come out till, I guess, after he dies. The show centers on the Sinclair family, okay? Sinclair, Earl's job is to push over trees for the We Say So Corporation. Just like I say about why. They tell you why. We say so. Also interesting, I think there's no way to say that in Russian. I say. Like, when you say, dude, move that thing out of the way. Well, who said to do that? I say. Like, in Russian, there's just like, I speak. But it doesn't mean the same thing. They have like a long, different way of saying it. But it's interesting the way they languages may have been engineered to control your thought in a certain way. Just like simple things, not being able to say it in certain languages. So his job is to, and their boss is Richfield. They're all oil names. Featured issues pretty radical at the time. Women's rights, sexual harassment, LGBT, drug use, masturbation. So, the agenda. The agenda. Sorry, I fucked up. Here. Yeah. Okay. In the final season, the greatest story ever sold references religion, when the Sinclair family becomes eager to learn the meaning of their existence. The elders dictate a new system of beliefs, and the entire cast, with the exception of Robbie, abandons science to blindly follow the newly popular potatoism. Another religious-themed episode was The Last Temptation of Ethel, in which Ethel willingly allows a televangelist to exploit her near-death experience to extort money from followers. Listen to this. So, they're making fun of religion. Like I said, these people, they tell you they have why. We have why. We possess why. And there's no meaning to anything. There's no meaning to life. Just acquire shit. Just step on everyone's head. Rape the earth. Do whatever you gotta do to go fast and fucking make money. But let's look at that at the end. Instead of heaven, she experiences a place not so nice. So she goes to hell. An existence surrounded by nothing but multiple Earl Sinclairs. See, so they're drawing this parallel that Sinclair is the devil. She goes to hell, and who's there? Nothing but multiple Earl Sinclairs. And we got some PP, some predictive whatnot. At the end of the show, it's the end of the world. BP Richfield assumes that the creation of clouds will bring rain, allowing the plants to grow back. So decides to create clouds by dropping bombs in the planet's volcanoes to cause eruptions and cloud cover. The dark clouds instead cause global cooling in the form of a gigantic cloud cover simulating the effects of what the viewer would recognize as nuclear winter. So they're doing the, you know, nuke scare, nuclear winter, trailing. They're blocking out the sun, just like the Matrix. We don't know who started the war, but we know that it was us who blackened the sky. And just like, what's going on up there? Where'd the sun go? Scientists estimate it would take tens of thousands of years to dissipate. BP Richfield dismisses this as a fourth quarter problem and states that We Say So is currently making record-breaking profits from the cold weather, selling blankets, heaters, and hot cocoa as a result of a cold snap. Yeah, look. Earl apologized to his family and stated that his actions led to the end of the world. At DNN, it's supposed to be like CNN. At DNN, Howard Hand Up Me concludes his final broadcast. He's a puppet. His name's Hand Up Me. Howard Hand Up Me. So, that's the dinosaur story. Where does oil come from, class? Dinosaurs! It's not the rape of the earth. It's not a gigantic human blood sacrifice, satanic parasitic mind virus that causes you to gnaw your own foot off. Is it? No! It's dinosaurs! That's right, dinosaurs. Alright, just real quick before I wrap it up. Couple other logos. Citgo. You can see it's the Y. The Y, the pyramid. It's the Y is, like I showed you in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, it's the inside corner of a cube. So the Y also represents the cube. This is like a master symbol. It's not just the pyramid, it's the Y. The inside corner of a cube. It's not really the pyramid, because you see the pyramid is 4 triangles, like the pyramid in Giza. So, quick fill, KF. K is 11. And you see they purposely make the K without a hard angle so it can be an 11. You see, K is 11 and F is 6. So this is a 66. And if you think I'm tripping, they're a subsidiary. The real corporation is United Refining Company. And it's 2 VAVs. 6s. So this is 66. You see Vav and a mirrored Vav. And Vav, the character for 6 in Hebrew. This is the same, they own Quickfill. So see, KF, 11.6, 66. They write the K like an 11, just in case you weren't sure if they really meant that. Yep, we really mean that, 66. That's what we mean. Where does oil come from, class? Dinosaurs! Not the rape of the earth, okay? Alright, so I just wanted to add a couple more closing thoughts to this. Oil. What is oil in general? It looks like in the past, like in New York City, the old buildings, like in all the old cities, we had, I forget what it's called, but the central heat systems, where it just flows and flows into all the buildings, and these geothermal systems, and the steam power we used to have, where they would have so much heat in these buildings, it was just like radiating heat, even in the winter, like leave the windows open. But the problem is when you have steam power, atmospheric electricity, or geothermal in these basically really well-built, incredible, long-lasting, free systems that are harmonious with the earth, and you're not raping the earth. But how do you put that at a pump with a meter, to pay? How do you sell that by the barrel? How do you exert control? It's just like the electricity and the water. Like I said, like if every city block had a well, a cistern in the middle of it, and everyone had free water, primary water, but then how do you turn their water off? We need to be able to turn it off. And how how do we introduce all the essential vitamins and minerals, the fluoride and lithium that they need for their teeth and their brains, unless we have a centralized control, a central source that we can shut off and we can put a meter on and we can sell. With the oil, like, yeah, that steam power, geothermal, atmospheric electricity, yeah, it might be nice for a peaceful agrarian society, but how do we load up fuel into tanker ships to bring in our colonizing force? How do we load up millions of barrels into our of geothermal or atmospheric electricity, central free power? How do we load millions of barrels of it up into our caravan of warships on our to fuel the empire and our colonization and rape of the earth all over the world? You see, so it's like just like everything else. Energy needs to be in a way that we can exert control over it, that we can put a meter on it, and we can stop it, we can turn it off. And to get you to agree to this, you know, because evolution, we evolved, survival of the fittest, the dinosaurs were extinct, and it's just dinosaurs. These guys on TV, these friendly cartoon characters, get you to agree to it. No, it's not a rape of the earth. Doesn't matter where all this land came from. Doesn't matter if we're pumping out its blood. And no, it's dinosaurs. And you know, just to bring it home, you got Standard Oil, Sinclair Oil, dinosaur narrative, the World's Fairs. You got Walt Disney, Toy Story, Jim Henson, the Navy, and the fascists, the Nazis. You know, it's like same story. The screen. The story the screen tells us.